It's Sunday evening at Monza, Ferrari's sacred home ground. Lewis Hamilton climbs out of his SF25, removes his helmet, and for a brief moment, you can see it in his eyes. The realization that this isn't going according to plan. 16 races into his Ferrari career, and he still hasn't tasted champagne from the podium steps. What if I told you that the 7-time world champion is now facing the possibility of his first season without a single podium finish in 19 years of Formula One? What if Ferrari's own team boss just admitted they completely underestimated how difficult this transition would be? And what if, with just 8 races remaining, we're witnessing not the revival of Ferrari's championship hopes, but the slow-motion collapse of one of F1's most anticipated partnerships? This is the story of how a dream move became a living nightmare, and why this weekend in Baku might be Lewis Hamilton's last realistic chance to save face. Let's start our story in January 2025. Lewis Hamilton walks into the Ferrari factory in Maranello for the first time as their driver. The Tifosi are ecstatic. The media calls it the signing of the decade. Everyone believes this is the missing piece that will finally bring Ferrari back to championship glory. Fast forward to today, and the reality couldn't be more different. According to Sky Sports' recent analysis, Hamilton has now endured 16 consecutive races without a podium finish, a streak that began during his final Mercedes races and has continued to haunt him in Ferrari red. To put this in perspective, Hamilton had achieved podium finishes in every single one of his previous 18 seasons. That's an incredible 18-year streak that's now hanging by a thread. But here's where the story gets really troubling. At Ferrari's home race in Monza just 2 weeks ago, the place where they needed to prove they could compete, Hamilton qualified 5th, received a penalty, and could only manage 6th place. His teammate Charles Leclerc, driving the identical car, finished a crushing 25 seconds behind race winner Max Verstappen. 25 seconds. In F1 terms, that's not a gap, it's a chasm. The most painful part? Hamilton finished 4 seconds behind his former Mercedes teammate George Russell, the same George Russell who has stood on multiple podiums this season, while Hamilton watches from the midfield. When Sky Sports F1 asked Hamilton directly if he believed his Ferrari had the pace to fight for podiums, his response cut straight to the heart of Ferrari's problems. "I don't think so. We don't have the pace of Red Bull, and we don't have the pace of McLaren. Currently, I think we are 4th, 5th. This isn't the Lewis Hamilton we know, the fighter, the champion who never accepts defeat. This sounds like a man slowly coming to terms with an uncomfortable truth. But there's something Ferrari's management revealed that makes this situation far more serious. In a rare moment of candid honesty, Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur appeared on F1's Beyond the Grid podcast and made an admission that should send chills down every Tifosi's spine. "I don't know if we underestimated the importance of the change," Vasseur confessed. Probably because he spent 10 years at McLaren, then 12 with Mercedes. Joining Ferrari is a complete change for him in his life, the culture of the team, and everything. Think about what Vasseur is actually saying here. Ferrari, the team that supposedly did extensive due diligence before signing the most expensive driver in the sport, admits they might have underestimated the challenge. This isn't just about car setup or driving style. According to Vasseur, it's about culture and everything being different. But here's the part of the story that makes it even more devastating. Ferrari hasn't won a single race since last October's Mexico City Grand Prix. That's approaching a full year without victory. They remain the only one of F1's top 4 teams without a Grand Prix win in 2025, despite sitting second in the Constructors Championship. To understand how catastrophic this is, you need to know that Ferrari last went an entire season without winning a race in 2021. If they fail to win in 2025, it would mark their second winless season in just 4 years. This is the team that hired Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver of the modern era, specifically to end their championship drought. The irony is almost too painful to contemplate. Hamilton left Mercedes, a team that had delivered him 6 world championships, to join a Ferrari squad that's now struggling to even compete for race wins. And the calendar reveals why Ferrari's situation is about to get much worse. Charles Leclerc recently sat down with Sky Sports and delivered what might be the most honest assessment of Ferrari's 2025 season anyone has given. When asked about their remaining opportunities, Leclerc identified just 3 circuits where they might be competitive. Singapore, maybe Baku, and Las Vegas are maybe the tracks we are a bit closer to win a race. Let that sink in. With 8 races remaining in the season, Ferrari's own driver believes they have genuine winning chances at just 3 circuits. But even then, Leclerc was brutally realistic. I think we are 3rd favorites. Maybe if Red Bull struggles, maybe 2nd, but never the first ones. 3rd favorites, at their best remaining tracks. This means Ferrari would need both McLaren and Red Bull to struggle simultaneously for Hamilton to even have a shot at victory, let alone a podium. This weekend's Azerbaijan Grand Prix becomes absolutely critical in this context. According to Vasseur, we are historically always in a good shape in Baku. Leclerc has claimed the last 4 consecutive pole positions at the Baku city circuit. The weather forecast shows stable conditions. Friday and Saturday have a 40% chance of rain, while Sunday's race sits at just 20%. These are ideal conditions for Ferrari to maximize their package. But here's what makes Hamilton's situation so precarious. If he can't secure a podium at one of Ferrari's strongest tracks, with favorable weather conditions and a proven track record, when will he get another realistic chance? The most telling moment came when Hamilton was asked about his podium prospects for the remaining races. His response was devastating in its honesty. If we do an exceptional job, we can maybe get a podium here and there. Notice the language, exceptional job, and maybe. This isn't a 7-time world champion expressing confidence. This is a driver managing expectations for what might be impossible. But even if Hamilton breaks his drought this weekend, there's a bigger story unfolding that nobody's talking about. While Hamilton struggles for a single podium finish, McLaren is on the verge of clinching the Constructors Championship. According to the Sky Sports analysis, McLaren could mathematically secure the title if results go their way this Sunday in Baku. Think about the brutal irony of this situation. Hamilton left Mercedes because he wanted to be part of a championship-winning team again. Instead, he's potentially about to watch McLaren, the team where he won his first championship in 2008, celebrate a constructor's title while he struggles to even reach the podium. Ferrari currently holds a 20-point advantage over 3rd-placed Mercedes and a 41-point lead over 4th-placed Red Bull in the constructors' standings. But as Vasseur himself admits, their focus has shifted from challenging for wins to simply finishing P2 in the championship. That's not the conversation Ferrari expected to be having when they signed Lewis Hamilton. The psychological impact on Hamilton cannot be understated. As Vasseur noted, the expectation was huge when Hamilton joined Ferrari. Every race without a podium adds pressure, undermines confidence, and raises questions about whether this partnership can ever deliver on its promise. The broader F1 landscape makes Ferrari's situation even more precarious. McLaren is dominating with superior pace and strategy. Red Bull has shown renewed competitiveness in recent races. Meanwhile, Ferrari's development resources are already shifting toward the 2026 regulation changes, meaning significant improvements to the current car are unlikely. From Hamilton's personal perspective, this season represents more than just poor results. It's a fundamental challenge to his legacy. He's gone from being a championship contender to hoping for exceptional performances just to reach the podium. So here we are, approaching what might be Lewis Hamilton's most important weekend in Ferrari colors. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix represents everything this partnership was supposed to be about. A track where Ferrari has historically excelled, stable weather conditions, and a realistic chance for success. But the question that haunts this entire story remains unanswered. If Hamilton can't deliver at Baku, with all the advantages aligned in Ferrari's favor, what does that say about the remaining 7 races? And perhaps more importantly, what does it mean for a partnership that was supposed to restore both Hamilton and Ferrari to championship glory? The dream move that captured the imagination of F1 fans worldwide is now a nightmare that neither party knows how to wake up from. This weekend in Baku, we'll discover whether this story has any hope of a happy ending, or if we're witnessing one of the most disappointing chapters in Formula One history. What do you think? Is this the weekend Hamilton finally breaks through, or are we watching the slow-motion end of one of F1's greatest careers? Let me know your thoughts, because after 16 races of disappointment, we're about to find out if dreams can still come true in Formula One.